Well, the virus has now killed more than 100 people in China, and new cases have been confirmed around the world.
So you don't want to frighten the American public.
France and South Korea have also got evacuation plans.
But you need to prepare for and assume
strongly warning Americans to avoid all non-essential travel to China.
That this is going to be a real serious problem.
France, Australia, Canada, the US, Singapore, Cambodia, Vietnam, the list goes on.
Health officials are investigating more than 100 possible cases in the US.
Germany, a man has contracted the virus.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
Japan, where a bus driver contracted the virus.
Coronavirus has killed more than 100 people there and infected more than 4,500.
We have to prepare for the worst, always, because if you don't and the worst happens...
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, we're live back here in the War Room. It's the 9th of October. This is what we got, like 24 in our wake up. No games. Game's over. We're not here to entertain you. We're here to do the practical, hard work, heavy lift of how elections are decided in this country, and they're decided by votes. They're decided by real votes, by real people that are certified. And that's what this is going to come down to. Okay, and this part of the show, it's the next hour, we're going to get down to even more nitty-gritty. We're going to talk about states. We're going to talk about demographics. One of the things we're going to focus on today is Pennsylvania. Breaking news today. Besides, Nancy Pelosi is doing two things. Number one, she's getting a vote on a commission on the 25th Amendment. That's all to fire her base up. She's also doing conference calls because they're cribbing notes from War Room Pandemic about the congressional delegation. This is going to be massive. It also shows you they're nervous about the vote on November 3rd, right? Because now what they want to do is make sure they got a cover bid. That cover bid is to protect them in January with these congressional delegations. So she's making these calls about places like Montana. That's why let's connect some dots. That's why that court case, that decision by the judge to allow ballot harvesting in Montana is a big deal. So all over, we've got a whole map to go through. Priorities USA just comes in. Mr. Raheem Kassan, what did they tell us?
So Pennsylvania is the tipping point, they say, of this entire race. We have a map out from this
wherever heard that before.
Democrat super PAC group, Priorities USA, and effectively what it does, it walks through the worm type situation where you can see where the path to 270 is. And Biden's path, they say, includes right at the end, i.e. at its shakiest point. Everything else before this is solid, like you got the D.C. and Vermont and all that kind of stuff. And then, but you go towards the 270 and it gets shaky for them. But they say Biden will take Minnesota and Wisconsin and Michigan. And then Pennsylvania is kind of the midway point between these two candidates. The problem is what they're also claiming is that the president will not necessarily take Georgia and North Carolina, Florida, Arizona on his way to Pennsylvania as the tipping point. Now, I don't think the Georgia call is correct. I'm not entirely sure about the North Carolina numbers. The rest, I think, that's in play territory
But they're telling us they're going to run through the tape. Don't think they're going to. This is not 2016. You cannot do what you did in 16 and win here. Well, some of it you can. You got to get low propensity voters. You got to get back to populism and economic nationalism, immigration. Get back to the themes and hammer on low propensity voters. We're going to have Alexandra Priet, our comms director, who's Miss Pennsylvania. She knows everything about Pennsylvania. She's going to come on. We also got Bill Hillman, who's a tactician down there to talk about this. Captain Bannon is going to be joining us later about all over the country. Mailbags missing. Rick Grinnell's tweeting out stuff. They're taking his Twitter account down. It's crazy now. It's going to get much crazier because now, game on. One of the most important votes in this country, an incredibly important vote in 16, which stunned the Democrats, because I come from a Democratic Irish Catholic family, is the Catholic vote. We now have Brian Birch on. Brian is the head of Catholic Vote. Brian, walk us through, first off, the organization. What is Catholic Vote? What do you guys do? Why are you around, and why are you important?
Well, thanks, Steve. Great to be with you guys. Absolutely. This is game on time. You're right on with that. When it comes to the Catholics, too often, as many of you probably know, you hear various things from, whether it's from the Pope or the bishops or your local pastor or priest. The church traditionally doesn't do politics, or when it does it badly. And so Catholic Vote is actually run by Catholic lay people. We are not priests. We are not bishops. We are not funded by the church. and we are now 500,000 strong and growing stronger by the day. And we represent the real Catholics, people who still go to church, who take the church teaching seriously, unlike Joe Biden does. And we are organizing on the ground in 7 specific states. And I know you want to talk about some of those, but Catholics who go to church behave very differently politically than Catholics who don't go to church. And it's Catholics who
they tell me,
take the faith seriously.
but Brian, every day I'm told on mainstream media, I'm told on MSNBC and CNN, which are always huge supporters of the Catholic Church, I'm told constantly that Joe Biden is a observant Catholic, that Joe Biden's a devout Catholic, that Joe Biden's Catholicism has formed not just his character, but his entire life. Are you telling me that's not, am I being misled by the mainstream media?
The mainstream media misleading, how could that be? The tell on that, Steve, is notice what they talk about when they refer to his faith. They never talk about the policies. They never talk about what he actually is proposing to do for the country. Instead, they focus on, well, he grew up in Scranton, he has a rosary in his pocket, he met the Pope one time, and he quotes the Pope, and he likes the Pope. Well, none of that matters. No one's talking about his personal relationship with God. We're talking about what he's actually going to do. And they try to trip us up into how could you possibly judge a man's faith? No one's judging his faith. What we're judging is his public actions. And that's what matters to voters. Whether Joe Biden has a rosary in his pocket isn't going to change your life one bit. What he does with our economy, what he does with children, with families, with the cultural life of this country, that will impact you, and it will change your life.
Catholics, when you've got some breaking news here.
Well, I'm a lay person too, and I know your organization is a lay person. You can't speak it for clergy, but one of my great heroes is Cardinal Raymond Burke, and he had some very strong words about Joe Biden just a week or so ago. He says Biden is not a Catholic in good standing, and he should not approach to receive communion. And then when he's asked to clarify, he says, this is not a political statement. I don't intend to get involved in recommending any candidate for office, but simply to state that a Catholic may not support abortion in any shape or form because it is one of the most grievous sins against human life. He says of Biden, he has not only been actively supporting procured abortion in our country, but has announced publicly in his campaign that he intends to make the practice of procured abortion available to everyone in the widest possible form. So first of all, I would tell him not to approach Holy Communion out of charity toward him.
Brian Birch from Catholic Vote, how do you respond to what Cardinal Burke says? Is that a little too hard, or is that basically the philosophy of the folks, the 500,000 strong at Catholic Vote?
It's the philosophy not only of 500,000, it's the philosophy of the church since the very beginning. You can't claim to be a Catholic and openly and repeatedly violate one of the core tenets of the church, which is respect for the dignity of every human person, starting with the innocent child in the womb. Cardinal Burke gets criticized, but don't blame the messenger. Your problem is not Cardinal Burke. Your problem is ultimately with what the Catholic Church teaches. And if we take it seriously, if Catholics take their church seriously, then you have to wrestle with that question. That if you're going to publicly and repeatedly and obstinately, as the church says, violate this teaching, you cannot be a Catholic in good standing. And Joe Biden is not. That's why he's been denied communion. His Bishop of Scranton, his last Bishop of Scranton, denied him communion. There's many bishops in this country that will deny him communion if he was to show up. And thanks to Cardinal Burke for actually having the courage to stand up and say this, because there's a lot of bishops and priests who should be doing that, and they're not.
Okay, we want to have you on sometime. We can go into talk to the nationwide map, but today we're really focused on Pennsylvania, and you brought it up. He's now Joe from Scranton. He's not Joe. He's not the concierge of the global corporatists in Wilmington, Delaware, or Wall Street. He's now Joe from Scranton. He went up a couple of weeks ago, gave this faux populism speech, faux nationalism speech to try to get the Bernie guys on board. But he keeps playing up Scranton. The two states that the Catholic vote are absolutely central to are Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. In Pennsylvania, how big is the Catholic vote now? How meaningful is it, particularly in that Northwest? And where do you see this breaking down for Biden versus Trump?
Well, I'll share some inside numbers that we have. The Catholic vote in Pennsylvania is huge, and in Wisconsin, frankly, approaching 30% of the electorate there. And, of course, it breaks down in different ways, as we just talked about. Catholics who go to church, Catholics who are irregular church attendees, and Catholics who don't. If you don't go to church, you still call yourself Catholic, you're likely voting for Joe Biden. If you go to church, though, and this is really important, our numbers show Trump approval rating among Catholics who go to church, and we're talking about between 1 and 1.5 million voters. Trump approval rating is 66%. Now, here's the key. 25 or 30% of those Catholics don't regularly vote. And we all know this was what happened in 2016, the surprise turnout among voters that disappeared for previous election cycles. In our opinion, this is what it comes down to. There are not a lot of persuadable voters left out there. It's going to come down to turnout. And for us, because of the sheer size of the Catholic vote, if we can move these numbers among Catholics who still step foot in the church once or twice a year at a minimum, the more the better, obviously, that number could be the decisive factor, and I think it will be.
The 16 campaign, this was the path to victory, okay? It was low propensity voters like this. It was the Brian Birches. These are the guys that get it. If the big red predicate at 11 o'clock Eastern Time on the 3rd of November in Pennsylvania will go through Brian Birch. He just absolutely nailed exactly what this is about. Church-going Catholics and semi-regular church-going Catholics, overwhelming support for the traditional values of a guy who may be not, a guy that goes to church every week, Donald J. Trump, but they don't care. They see the directions of the policies. They see what he stands for, from the law and order to the military to confronting China to bringing jobs, manufacturing, blue-collar jobs back that these Catholics have. But the most important thing that Brian Birch said, it is the low propensity voters. That's what this is all going to come down to, the low propensity voters. Brian, last question. How can people get more access to Catholic vote, and what are you guys actually doing to get at those low propensity voters?
So very specifically, go to our website, catholicvote.org, click on the Pennsylvania, or click on the state that you want to be involved in. If you're living in any of those states, if you're living in any swing state, we have a full-time operation in each of these states. Sign up as a volunteer. We will immediately get you activated, and we will get you a list of Catholics that are in the vicinity of where you live. Our whole program is designed on Catholics talking to Catholics. All the research shows so much political noise in every election cycle. What people still listen to is someone who they believe is competent or trustworthy, so someone they know. There has to be affinity for the messenger for it to have high value. So we are doing Catholic to Catholic, ideally someone within their own parish. We will match you up with voters in your parish that we think need to be contacted. You can text them, call them, get them to personally pledge you to vote. Tell them you want record turnout in your parish, and we're going to be watching parish by parish, ranking them, which parishes are going to break records in terms of turnout. They need that nudge. They need a personal contact, and we'll give you the tools to do that.
Most of these, remember, audience, most of these are registered Democrats, right? Registered Democrats. It is through Brian Birch that victory is. You can see it. You just line it up. Brian, one more time. How do people get to your site?
Very simple, catholicvote.org. As the name describes what we do, who we target, what we're about. Very simple. We have a full-time team in Pennsylvania and 7 other states. We'll help you get started right now.
Brian Birch, thank you. Good man. Okay, I want to have we're going to get Frank Walker on here in a minute in the next segment if he can hang over, because I got to have a chat with a partners discussion with the deplorables crowd. All this stuff you're going to see on CNN and all the talking heads and everything on Fox and everything like that, that's noise. Brian Birch is signal. Okay? Time to put the toys away. Time to put the games away. I don't hear any whining. I don't want to see any tears. I don't want to hear it. I'm not here to pat you on the head and make you feel better. We're here to talk about saving this republic. Okay? You want to save this republic? Get right now and get on Brian Birch's site. And we're going to be bringing other guys on like Brian Birch. Okay? Victory begets victory. You want to win. You want to save this republic. This is how we're going to do it. Through the narrow gate. Okay, we're going to take a short commercial break. We'll return. Frank Walker from Canon 212. We got the Pennsylvania crowd backing that up. All next on War Room Pandemic.
Do you have any idea how your mattress affects your body and how well you sleep? Is it too hard or too soft, causing you to wake up with sore shoulders, back, or hips? Are you uncomfortable because you're too hot or too cold? Now you can get the total body support you need and the better sleep you want with the new MyPillow mattress topper.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell. When I invented my new MyPillow mattress topper, I made it to have everything you'd ever want in a topper. My mattress topper helps give you the support you need, helps relieve your pressure points, and regulates your body temperature for you as an individual. It comes with a 10-year warranty. You can wash and dry the cover. It's made in the USA, and I back it with my 60-day money-back guarantee.
Go to MyPillow.com or call now to get your very own MyPillow mattress topper. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 30% off and 2 standard MyPillows absolutely free. Order now.
MyPillow topper delivers on its promise to give me a better night's sleep.
I can sleep all night through, and it's a miracle for me.
Mike's exclusive 3-layer design starts with a layer of MyPillow foam, providing you superior support and comfort. The second layer of transitional foam evenly distributes body weight and helps relieve uncomfortable pressure points for optimal comfort. Mike's ultra-soft outer layer is a patented temperature-regulating cover that helps keep you at your ideal sleeping temperature all night long. Unlike other sleep systems costing thousands, the MyPillow mattress topper takes comfort to a whole new level without any wires, remotes, or moving parts. Call now or go to MyPillow.com to order your MyPillow topper. Use the promo code to save 30%. When you do, Mike will give you 2 of his standard MyPillows absolutely free. That's right, 2 standard MyPillows free and 30% off your MyPillow topper today. Order now.
I personally guarantee it's going to change your bed into the most comfortable bed you'll ever own.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
Hello, I'm Mike Lindell, and as you know, my passion is to help each and every one of you get the best sleep of your life. That's why I created my new Giza Dreams bed sheets. I started by using the world's best cotton called Giza. It's only grown in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. It's ultra soft and breathable, but extremely durable. My Giza sheets also include full 21-inch wide pillowcases that will fit over any pillow and deep pocket sheets that will fit over any mattress. The first night you sleep on my sheets, you'll never want to sleep on anything else.
Go to MyPillow.com or call the number on your screen right now to get your very own MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets. Giza Dream Sheets are available in a variety of colors. Use the promo code and Mike will give you 2 for 1 low price and free shipping. That's right, get 2 for 1 low price plus free shipping.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit MyPillow.com.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, we just heard how this is going to be won in Pennsylvania, and it's going to come down. You got to win Florida. It's going to come down to Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania is the key that picks the lock. Heavily Catholic. Pennsylvania. Brian Birch just dropped a bomb on you. 30% of the vote in Wisconsin. That's what John Kennedy won that primary back in '60. Wouldn't have been president of the United States. Didn't win Wisconsin. Heavily Catholic. Pennsylvania, heavily Catholic. We had started the show with Darren Beatty, former White House speechwriter, now the guy over at one of the guys running Revolver.news, which is one of the new drudges. We got our wingman, Raheem Kassam's on National Pulse. They do a little different thing. Pulse is actually a place with great breaking investigative stories and great news. Revolver's trying to be the new drudge. You've got Citizens Free Press, What's Finger. You got a bunch of them up there, and of course all the great ones of Gateway Pundit. But there's a site. And we're going to get the evangelical Christians next week. For the Catholics, Canon 212. Get it up on your homepage and make sure that you're clicking there all the time. If you're a Catholic or just a Christian or just want to know about interesting news, because this thing is quite an interesting site. Canon 212, Frank Walker. Frank, doing an amazing job. But here's what we got to have you on here today. We just had Brian Birch, who is a grinder. And we have Liz Ure on all the time because we're the anti-CCP network here, and it's blowing our head up about what the Vatican's doing with the CCP and all the corruption, now the financial scandals. My question, as an institution, is there's so many scandals, from the pedophilia scandal to now the financial scandals to every day you're looking up and some attorney generals going after the diocese, and then you see the diocese going to bankruptcy, which I said a couple of years ago. As an institution, does the church, as a secular institution, not for its spiritual, but does it have the weight that it used to have, do you believe, given the fact that you run the Drudge site for traditional Catholics?
Thanks for having me on here, Steve, and thanks for the kind words you said about Canon 212. I don't think the Catholic Church is a completely different thing with Pope Francis at the helm. So I don't think it's the same institution, but Francis's effect on the Catholic vote, I think, is positive. I think what he does is he turns people away from the things that he promotes. He's sort of an anti-evangelist because the people are, I think, generally, he has the popes always have general audiences, and the people fill up the piazza. I know that it's the time of the virus, but he's had to move those general audiences to an internal patio area because they don't come out to see him. He's like the Pope of hype. So no, I don't think it has the weight that it is because it isn't preaching Catholicism. The Christian faith has a weight of its own. And I just don't, people do not see that there. So I think in these elections, like in 2016, it's Trump that's driving the Catholic vote. People are looking to alternatives to the Pope. They're looking at people like Archbishop Vigano and Trump. Some people even think of Trump in spiritual terms simply because he's defending the church. He's a pro-Christian leader. So no, I don't see the weight that it had before. And until it becomes Catholic again, it's not going to have it because the church is an organic thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I go back because I can hear the mainstream media melting down already. We got it's another nutcase on. No, because you just said that, hey, in the unbroken chain from St. Peter to today, you've got a guy that's ahead in that. He's not preaching Catholicism. But then they have the great orange barbarian, according to mainstream media, but he's actually protecting Christianity. Just walk through your logic because you're going to get chopped off. So I want to make sure, back that up. You've had an unbroken chain from St. Peter, but you're Frank Walker, who basically runs the Drudge of conservative Catholicism and kind of traditionalism. You're arguing that guy is preaching kind of anti-Catholicism, yet the orange barbarian, according to Rachel Maddow and the crowd over at MSNBC and CNN, is actually protecting a guy that never goes to church, is actually protecting Christianity. Walk us through your logic. Tie that together.
The great leaders of Christendom, Constantine and Charlemagne, they weren't very Catholic either. They were about power. They were about battle. I think they weren't baptized till late in life. But they were very necessary. It's very necessary to have power to protect the church from, bad influences and infiltration. And so that's what I mean when I talk about Trump. Just like Bolsonaro in Brazil, just like Salvini tried to be in Italy, just like Orban is in Hungary, they protect Christianity from its enemies in a lot of ways. It doesn't mean that they're Catholics. That's just the role that they're taking. And so I think the Catholics are going to respond to that with Trump. But the unbroken chain that you mentioned about Pope Francis and all of the popes, there have been 38 anti-popes. And I'm not saying that Francis is an anti-pope. I don't know what he is, but he does not appear to be a Catholic pope. And that's very unusual. And so I think we're in an unusual situation with the Catholic Church right now.
Frank, one last thing. I just want to get into this. We stay away from theology. Now, I've been over there, and NBC did a whole special with me over in Rome talking about the administrative side. I'm not a theologian. Don't pretend to be. Just follow the teachings that church has. But there are a number of prominent theologians. I think there were 24. First of all, there were 3 great cardinals that put forward some theological things. The newbie, I think it was, he was supposed to respond to. And on what I love about Canon 212 is every day I go there and it's another day, 15,000 days since he has not responded, right? Which every other pope's responded within 90 days. It's got a ticker right there, 50. I know it. But There's another one that had the guy from Cambridge, the first Catholic theologian at Cambridge University, I think, since the Reformation, a very well-known priest in England, and others, I think 24 or 25 young theologians that basically came out with an analysis, and this is not Steve Bannon, this is a couple of years ago, that said, hey, we think he's a heretic, right? And kind of went through it. Where does Pope Francis stand with some of the smartest theologians in the church right now?
Oh, I lost you there.
Do you have us?
You broke up there. Are you asking me where to?
Yeah, I was asking about the. Do you have us back? I was asking about the theologians. These theologians that came in and said that Pope Francis is a heretic.
Yeah, so they are good theologians when they said that, and they're simply referring to some of the things that he teaches. And so, it's either it is or it isn't. And what that means, how to deal with that, that's open to. The church has been, it's been kind of stable in recent years, but it's had a lot of rough and tumble and crazy back and forths over the years. And sometimes things are new, and it's not a clean thing, but it has lasted with God's help for thousands of years, and I expect it to continue to. But no, I don't think the popes are supposed to preach or propagate formal heresy. And I think that has practical implications for everybody. But I don't think it's going to hurt the election, which is what you're talking about here, because it doesn't seem to have an effect. It affects the church. I mean, you can't get a bishop to really endorse the Catholic vote. They say, he shouldn't be about abortion, but then they list 7 other things that are Democrat policy points that they call Catholic because their Pope calls that Catholic, like illegal immigration and environmentalism or something. And so they give a mixed message, but I don't think it's going to take.
Last thing before we jump, you got a.
No, I just had a great example of their politicking is also their omission, right? Remember when they voted on abortion in Ireland? Pope Francis specifically told the Irish bishops that they could not take a position on the referendum on abortion in Ireland, and they lost by 0.5 percentage point.
Unbelievable. Frank, real quickly, tell us about Canon 2. Tell us about Canon 212. We want everybody to go there. Tell us about it. You got about a minute to walk us through. Tell us about Canon 212, your site.
Canon 212. I've been doing this 11 years now. It's there's so much in the Catholic press that's buried, and I wanted to have something where conservatives could become more Catholic and Catholics could become more conservative. But now I think my motto is there's nothing good or Catholic about liberalism. And so I don't think there's any Democrat policy points that are Catholic. And I put that message out, and that's what I hope to communicate, and that's what I try to teach people. But if the lead is buried, I put it up there, and I believe that things that need contempt, things that are bad, should get contempt and should get mockery, and I do that because really things are very quiet in the Catholic press. And then I put things that Catholics would read and be interested in that affect the church. So it's really something for Catholics to read, and it's not just about the church at all.
Frank, how do people? Do you have a Twitter handle, or I know Canon 212, Canon 212
is written out. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have, you can see my daily update video, and it's Canon with like the Canon with just one N, like the camera. But all you have to do is Google it, and you can get to it.
Okay, it's not a site for the faint of heart. Okay, you go there, you're going to be rattled, particularly by the headlines. Okay, Frank, thank you very much for joining us. Look forward to having you back.
Thank you, Steve.
We did the Catholics. We're going to do Pennsylvania. Alexander Priya, try to get Hillman. Raheem, you've been over there with a knitted brow. What's going on?
Oh, I'm following intently along with Madeleine Peltz and her latest in musical endeavors.
Madeleine Peltz is a pro. I mean, they got to. I tell you, this is what no. This is what I keep saying about the left. Don't think they don't have great people. She's on it. She's. Here's why I like her. She's always getting the buried leads on the show, right? She's like boom. She is pure signal. She's never noise, and I respect that.
I'm looking forward to my response.
I respect that. Okay, fine. I like smart people. You know why? Because I think smart people can be converted, right?
Oh,
I think smart people can be converted.
She's the next Mrs. Stephen K. Bannon?
No. I'm going to convert to the Trump movement. Wouldn't want to do that. Okay, sure. Raheem's now rattled me. We'll take a short break back.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this.
Let's stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear CopperFit Advanced Back Pro. CopperFit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like CopperFit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with CopperFit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
CopperFit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
CopperFit, live limitless.
My son needs this drug. I hope it doesn't cost too much. I hope my insurance pays for it. Can you tell me how much this will be?
67.
Sorry. Wait, have you heard about GoodRx?
GoodRx finds free coupons to help you save up to 80% on your prescriptions.
Wow. I had no idea.
GoodRx. Stop paying too much for your prescriptions.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
If you want to see mass hysteria, to mass hysteria on the mass hysteria. No, the mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria. Hysteria. Mass hysteria. Hysteria.
Mass hysteria. The lawfare element of the steal the election. Here's what they're trying to do. They're going to be in court with Eric Holder, New York Times. They're in your grill. They're just going to be shoveling them in by the pound. Going to vote by the pound.
By the pound.
Voting by the pound.
Vote by the pound.
I want to go voting by the pound. We'll do them by the pound. You got a pound of ballots over there? Bring in another pound. They got Perkins Coie. They've got a major law firm. They got solicitor generals, ex-U.S. attorneys. They're going to be up in your face. They've traumatized their base.
Traumatized your base. Traumatized their base.
Traumatizing your base. They traumatized their base. The note, they've already said they're not going to declare any victor. This is going to go on for a month. What they want to do is hit the tripwires, social media, and their digital muscle. Digital muscle.
Media muscle. Those are votes that take place on game day.
On game day.
Game day vote.
The game day vote. Game day. Hillary Clinton said, under no circumstances are you to concede. I think we got enough here. We got enough. Oh, election, Joe Biden, illegitimate regime in.
Illegitimate regime.
Illegitimate regime.
Illegitimate and unelected junta.
I happen to be a junior officer on the destroyer. If you want to see mass hysteria,
Pretty good.
Not pretty good. By the way, if Madeline Peltz was my wingman, be king of the world. That's Madeline Peltz, a media man. No offense. I'm looking at chopped liver, okay? That's the best supercut ever. That's the best supercut ever. What a great time to have my comms director come on. Just saying. The irony of all this. That was Madeline Peltz supercut over at Media Matters. No, but they're paying attention. That was about as good a supercut as you could get. That was all signal, no noise.
That was a new Democratic commercial. Vote by the pound.
But listen, let's get all the cards on the table. Nancy, the tells are all over, right? Everybody knows what this is going to be about, right? All the sunshine patriots are gone. This is now political war, okay? This is not about 30-second spots. It's not about some consultant coming in and telling you we're going to do this. This is not about campaign chasing suburban moms, okay? Those votes are not there. Stop it, okay? The votes are in the Hispanic community. The votes are in the black community. The votes are about economic nationalism. The votes are about populism. Those are where the votes are. Get focused. The left is focused. What is she doing today? She's just putting up a bill for the 25th Amendment. That's to get them all riled up, right? She's doing conference calls on the congressional delegation. She's working through the map on a national basis to see those delegations. She knows she can't win at 26, 23-1, right? And she realizes there could be a couple things that flip here. It could be 26, 21-4. She doesn't want that. She understands. She's four-dimensioning chess right now. Knows this thing could go to January to the House, and she also understands that Judge Barrett's going to get approved. So you're going to have a Supreme Court that's 6-3, because they're going to be staring down the table. Alito, Barrett, these going to be staring down the table at Roberts, saying you're not getting wobbly anymore, right? You're with the posse. So this is all. It's time to stop playing games. It's time to stop. Let's say what this is about. This is about delivering votes. That's why these morons, right? These morons in Michigan are not helping you, because they're not. They should be. What they should be doing is going out. And by the way, we had Christopher James.
Yeah, speaking of delivering votes,
I wanted to tweet this out.
I want to give a shout out to Chris James. He's been a longtime listener. He and I have corresponded a couple times. And here's this guy. Sends us a photograph on Twitter. It's a picture of him handing out, President Trump wants you to vote today. He's working. He's knocking on doors.
It's
this
a door.
Everybody has.
He's showing you a door hanger. He's walking around today on a Friday morning, knocking on doors, leaving the door hanger. Right.
Yep.
That's what you got to remember. The strategic advantage you have is they have traumatized their base. They can't get people to walk up to the door and knock on it. And we're at the phase. Brian Birch just told you. Right, you got 1.5 million Catholics, or X million of Catholics. 66% approval by Trump. They're almost all registered Democrats, and they're low, and they're 25 or 30%, 35% are low propensity voters. You need to convert as much of that 66% as possible, and you're not going to do it by putting a spot on TV. Right, these people they hit the clicker, or they're not watching those channels. You got to walk up to a door. You got to knock on a door. You might have to have a conversation with them, right? And Christopher James, you're a hero. One of the smartest guys that if I had Madeline Peltz and Chris James, I'd be king of the world. I'm looking at chopped liver here. My producer Vish. I'm kidding, Vish. Although she did put together an amazing supercut.
Yeah, it was good.
It was good. It's good. And here's what I liked about it. They got all the signals.
Right. She caught the theme.
She caught the theme.
Vote by the pound.
She caught the theme. Okay, we're going to flip to Pennsylvania. Anything you want to say? You can jump in here at any time, Raheem.
I'm working on something.
Okay, good. Okay, no, there's a counter. There's a counter.
It's okay. It's a
Madeline, but here's the difference. Madeline Peltz and the folks over at Media Matters are not trolls. They're pros. They actually do. I don't agree with the politics, but when they're on it, they're on it. You're a troll. You're trolling. Raheem Gassam's trolling. Alexander Priot, Pennsylvania. We started with Priorities USA, came out, the big super PAC of the Biden thing. They come out with this big analysis. It's 236 to 158. A bunch of things hang in the balance. Arizona, North Carolina, Shockingly, Georgia, right? Florida may be leaning our way. But the key, they've already put Wisconsin, Michigan are gone, I think, after. Raheem, what do you, is it like a gnat over there? It's been over there all day?
I've got the fly.
Okay.
I've got Mike Pence's
Mike
fly.
Pence came in. Guest fly. That fly's a rock star. I want to be that fly's agent. Alexander Priya, tell us about Pennsylvania. What's going to happen there? Massive state, was the key to victory in 2016. Tell us what's happening in Pennsylvania today.
Let me start just as a rewind. If you remember famous James Carville during Senator Wofford's campaign said Pennsylvania is Pittsburgh and Philadelphia and Alabama in between. That's code word for deplorable. And that's basically what you have in the state of Pennsylvania, but I would call Alabama the great people of Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is like a microcosm of the United States, basically. We're battling in every single district just about. There's obviously a Democrat governor is very liberal. The state row offices are run by Democrats. Our House and Senate are run by Republicans, but their margins keep shrinking. And our congressional breakdown is 9 Republicans, 9 Democrats, but the seats that we hold are very intense and hard fought. For instance, the Connor Lamb seat used to be Republican. We lost, and now we have Sean Parnell running. So we lost the seat up near Scranton, but we have a really great candidate in Jim Bognett. So, the issue I'd say about Pennsylvania is what's going to matter most is turnout, which goes to your point, Steve. If we don't turn out our voters, it's hand-to-hand combat, we will not win. I think that then you backtrack that and you say, what's the enthusiasm like? The president's enthusiasm is as strong as it was in 2016. It's without a question. There's signs everywhere. If he shows up, we have lines all through even Democrat towns just to see his car drive by. And there's signs, just as many there were last time. People can't get enough signs. They're being taken down. They want to put more up. People make handmade signs. They buy signs. They have people get them from other counties. So it's a real team effort here. And I'd like to go from there to Scranton, which I think is the most important area in the whole state. President won Erie County, he won Northampton, and he won Luzerne County that John McCain didn't. Other Republicans never can. Those are generally Catholic areas. They're socially conservative and fiscally liberal. Okay, the state of Pennsylvania is different than a lot of other places. So the unions are very powerful in Pennsylvania. You see a few of them only support the president, but you have pro-gun legislators even in the Democrat Party. You have pro-life legislators even in the Democrat Party here. You remember Bob Casey, the governor, was pro-life and was active in Planned Parenthood versus Casey, the case that got Supreme Court to uphold standards against abortion. His son is now the governor, the senator, and he says he's pro-life. Now, there hasn't been lots of proof of that, but he is a respected man by many in the pro-life community. You have Pat Toomey, who's pro-life there, and he's pro-gun. So that's important to understand where Donald Trump falls. I think that this election is going to be very tight. He won only by about 50,000 votes last time. The Supreme Court knocked off the Green Party candidate just a short time ago, and Jill Stein last time.
Alexander, hang on a second. We got to jump to Bill Hillman, but I got a question. Every poll I'm seeing in Pennsylvania now, he's down 8, 9, 10, 12. I know you say the enthusiasm's high, and maybe these polls are weighted wrong. But if you just look at the trend of the polls, we won by, 42,000 votes last time? 42,000 votes. We lost by over 1 million votes in 18 at the Senate level and the governor level, if you add them up, right? We got blown out in 18. Every poll I've seen is grim and getting grimmer. How do you say the president is going to win? Are you saying those polls you don't believe was correct? Is it a game day vote? You got 2 minutes here to tell us what you got.
In general, my philosophy on polls are they are somewhat correct and close to being correct. In this one instance, I'm gauging enthusiasm as equally or more than the polls. The only thing that polls matter to me are show me the polls from 4 years ago to today and compare them. I want to see the breakdown. He is not down by 10 here. He's not down by 12, 16. He's not down by 5. This is this is exactly the same place we were in 2016. So voter turnout, which is Bill Hillman's expertise, is what this comes down to, okay? The polls, and I don't say that we should be concerned, okay? They're not where we want them to be. But what I look at is, again, where were we 4 years ago, and show me that same poll today, and that's going to tell me what we need to know.
Okay, Alexandra, thank you. I want to thank you very much for jumping on here. We're going to try to get Bill Hillman here, and then the next thing is Bill on, Bill Hillman. So, Bill, you have raised some highlights, not just about voter turnout, but about how your concerns is about voter, election administration. Let me call it that way. Walk us through. We got about a minute, and then I'm going to bring you back to the next segment. Give me a minute of what you got right now as far as administration.
Okay. There's a couple of areas to be concerned, and all this falls into Philadelphia. Just like we were talking a minute ago, we only won Pennsylvania by roughly 42,000 votes. Hillary came out of Philadelphia with less than 500,000 votes. She left almost 350,000 votes on the table in Philadelphia. Most of that was because her election and campaign just ignored Philadelphia and the black voter in Philadelphia. They're not doing that this year. And so that gets into what they've done is they first have been changing the rules. So as you talk, they took the Green Party candidate off the ballot. Jill Stein got about 50,000 votes 4 years ago, more than the margin that Trump won. And the question is, where are those votes going? I highly doubt they're going over to Trump. The second thing that they have done is
Bill, hang on 1 second. We're going to get to the second. Let's take a short commercial break because I want to get all your points in. Bill Hillman, who's a tactician in Pennsylvania, talking about this issue of how do you actually count the votes, what votes are certifiable, all that when we return on War Room Pandemic.
Brett Favre, legendary quarterback. Jerry Rice, legendary wide receiver.
You ready for your weekly meeting?
Yeah, we're ready.
Let's do this. They stack the deck.
When legends play, they wear Copperfit Advanced Back Pro. Copperfit's best-selling compression back support just got better with new double-band adjustable supports for customizable compression when you need it most.
Since I put this on, I feel so much better. The core is the most important thing. To know that I'm stabilized here. Whatever I'm doing, I can give it 100%.
4 built-in stabilizing supports designed to improve posture and help reduce lower back stress and strain.
You have back pain, and it's affecting your everyday life. You do something.
If you can find something to help you get back out and be active like Copperfit, go for it.
Absolutely.
Do not give up.
A high-performance compression fabric infused with the powerful properties of copper, 360-degree flexible mobility, and lightweight, durable construction.
Nothing more painful than having back pains. If you're aching, if you feel like you can't work out anymore, you can. And that's with Copperfit.
Yeah. It's for all of us who still want to be active, still want to compete.
Way to go. That's what I'm talking about. Man, this really does feel good. It feels to me like the fountain of youth.
Copperfit's best-selling back support just got bigger, badder, and better. Or call 1-800-944-5851. Or on the web at advancedbackpro.com. Get yours now for only $19.99.
This does feel good.
That's what I've been saying.
You think it was fair?
It was fun.
Play for the love of the game.
Copperfit, live limitless.
I'm Nick Bolton, and these days...
Hey there.
Hey there. It seems everybody has a pair of tactical sunglasses.
Good morning.
Morning. But what if you already wear glasses? Then you need these flip-up tack glasses. These new glasses fit right over your existing eyewear to give you all the benefits of our tack glasses while you comfortably wear your regular glasses. Plus, like all tack glasses, flip-up tack glasses feature Bell & Howell light filtering technology that makes invisible objects suddenly become visible. There's just nothing like them on the market today. Here you go, buddy.
Thanks, Nick.
Act now to get your flip-up tack glasses for just $19.99, and we'll even ship them to you free. But wait, order today and you can get a second pair. Just pay a separate fee. Here's how to order.
Call 1-800-284-4127 or go to flipupglasses.com. That's 1-800-284-4127 or order online at flipupglasses.com.
War Room Pandemic with Stephen K. Bannon.
The epidemic is a demon, and we cannot let this demon hide.
War Room Pandemic. Here's your host, Stephen K. Bannon.
Okay, tomorrow, big special, 10 a.m. to noon. It's everything about the bioweapon and what the CCP's done, how they're going to be held accountable. Dr. Li Ming Yan, Jack Maxey, Stephen K. Bannon. You can't miss that tomorrow night, Orange, Virginia. Go on our site. We'll be tweeting it out. We're doing actually an in-person, socially distanced, and of course, because we're in a pandemic, it'll be absolutely appropriate for the pandemic. But you got to come. You get all jacked up. John Frederick's going to be doing it live on the John Frederick's Radio Network. A big one. Bill Hillman, we only got a couple minutes. Give me 2 or 3 other ones. We're going to have you on back next week. You just laid out something perfect. There were 350,000 votes she left on the table in Philadelphia. That was the difference. What else you got for us?
If they steal the election, and I believe that they're going to try, it's not going to be 1,000 votes here and 1,000 votes there. It's going to be 5s and 10s and small changes. And most of it's going to happen in Philadelphia because the Democrats control Philadelphia. We have a Democratic mayor and DA who won't prosecute. We also recently had a judge of election in Philadelphia who was indicted. And of course, they had to do it through federal for voting and stuffing the ballot box. Okay, so we know it happens in Philadelphia. And as we've tried to get poll watchers inside, one of the things they've done is the Election Bureau in Philadelphia has set up satellite offices where you can go in, you can register to vote, you can get your mail-in ballot, you can fill out your mail-in ballot, and leave it there, and they're going to count them there. The court has said, no, you can't have partisan poll watchers there, which means Republicans, because they're not normal polling places. So since they're out of the election day, they've moved the vote from the polling places to satellite election offices on days prior to the election. The court has ruled against having poll watchers in place to oversee the ballot, which is just a recipe for theft.
Last thing, we're going to have you on next, Bill. We're going to have you on next week to do a more in-depth. But let me just ask you, for people that are in Philadelphia or the Pennsylvania area, we've got a big audience up there. Can't they volunteer to be an election official, not a poll watcher, but I mean get in the room? So you say they're going to steal them by 5s and 10s. You're actually in the room as a responsible adult to keep your eye on everything and just make sure it's done by the Robert's Rules of Order, because that's what we want. We want every certifiable vote to count. How do people actually volunteer? What's the call to action here?
The best way to volunteer is to get in touch with your county and your local Republican Party. And yes, we're desperate for people to be out right now. They have ballot mail drop-off points, and we need people out there to make sure that the people who are dropping off the ballots they're dropping off their own. And we've known, when we put people out there, as soon as you stop that first person for dropping off a stack of ballots, word spreads quick. And it stops. You don't have to be aggressive. You have to remind the county official that's standing there that person isn't allowed to do what they're about to do.
Bill, how do people get to? What's your social media handle? Do you have a Twitter account people can follow, or a website they can go to?
I would tell them to go to MontcoGOP.com, Montgomery County Republican Party.com, and there is a form up there where they can leave their information to come and help us, and we'll spread it out to the other counties.
Bill, thank you very much. You're a great American patriot. We'll have you on next week. We want to do an in-depth of all the tactics of how they're going to try to mess up election administration. I want to go quickly to Maureen Bannon. I want you to tell me, Captain Bannon, I want you to tell me about Rick Grinnell. What happened with Rick Grinnell yesterday?
So Rick Grinnell was authorized to share a post of one of his friends who happens to be a retired police officer in Hermosa Beach, California. He shared the picture on Twitter showing this man's parents, who had been dead for 10 years, received ballots for the 2020 general election. He asked Rick Grinnell, or gave him permission, to retweet it and call for an investigation into voter fraud. Twitter immediately locked Rick Grinnell's account and said that you must delete the picture and black out the addresses, and then you can repost it. And Rick Grinnell came back and said, I'm not going to delete it. I was given permission. I'm not deleting it. I'm not blacking out the addresses. So at this time, his account is still locked.
Okay, every day we're going to have Captain Ben is going to give us an update throughout the country of where the mail guys are dumping them into rivers, as the president says, or ditches, and everything that's going on in this administration. Captain Bannon, thank you very much. Look forward to having you on Monday and get a more detailed assessment.
Just breaking news, markets roaring right now on the latest tweet from Donald Trump says COVID relief negotiations are moving along. Go big.
Go big or go home. We got something special. We got a Raheem Kassam special. You want to tee it up in your 5 seconds?
Madeline Peltz, I appreciate the effort.
Okay,
but
she's the best.
We're going to go.
If Madeline Peltz was my wingman and the wingman
let's see who's the best.
This show would be the biggest show in history.
Let's see who's the best. Let's roll it.
If you want to see mass hysteria,
let's roll it
mass hysteria. On the mass hysteria. No, the mass hysteria.
Mass hysteria. Mass hysteria. Hysteria. Mass hysteria. Hysteria.
Mass hysteria.
Yeah.
The law for element. The vote by the pound.
Yeah.
Voting by the pound.
Vote by the pound.
I want to go voting by the pound. We'll do them by the pound. You got a pound of ballots over there, bring another pound.
Yeah.
They got Perkins Coie. They've got a major law firm. They got solicitor generals, ex-U.S. attorneys. They're going to be up in your face.
I'm not a heavy drinker.
They've traumatized their base.
Traumatized your base. Traumatized their base.
Traumatizing your base.
Yeah.
They traumatized their base. Digital muscle.
Digital muscle. Media muscle.
I work out. I do
Muscle. It's those are votes that take place on game day.
On game day.
Game day vote.
The game day vote. Game day. Game day.
watch a lot of reality television.
Game day. Hillary Clinton said, under no circumstances are you to concede. I think we got enough here. We got enough. Oh, election, Joe Biden, illegitimate regime in.
Illegitimate regime.
Illegitimate regime.
Illegitimate and unelected junta.
I happen to be a junior officer on the destroyer.
I'm Madeline Peltz. I'm a researcher with
The best. Absolutely the best. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. But
Well done, Madeline.
Yeah, no,
Absolute.
Madeline, it's all said out of respect, right? We respect you as a professional. Great job. Okay, special tomorrow, 10 to noon. Dr. Li Min Yang. Got to watch it. Everything about the labs in Wuhan, what happened. Tomorrow night in Orange, Virginia, live. We're going to be all weekend. We're doing 5, 6, 7 of these a day, nonstop until Election Day. Game on. The big red predicate.